Hey guys, Happy New Year and welcome to 2024. Our first guest for the year is the host for The Crowd Goes Wild on Sky Sports and also your favorite pie eater on Bakery Runs, Timprovise.
I just eat pies. Okay, just tell me. A pie eater guy.
He's downplaying himself. He is the creative director to Bakery Runs, an awesome show rating different bakeries all over New Zealand. And globally, right? You're going to go global on this?
We went to Australia.
Yeah,
so
see?
You can see international now.
There we go.
Ooh.
See? Mr. International. See? we're going there.
Mr. Worldwide all of a sudden. Eh? It's your boy Pitbull. Sheesh.
Thank you, Timprovise, for being our opening guest for our show this year.
What an honour.
What an honour for me to be interviewing you.
No. It's the other way around. To be the first. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Someone fire me. Someone fire me.
Silence that, please. That was.
It's off.
It's not me.
It is off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this year. New year, new me. New Year's resolution.
Let's go.
Talking about that, you know, it's a new year, 2024. 83% of people in New Zealand make New Year's resolution goals.
Wow, 83.
The top three.
Yeah,
being,
let's go through it.
Let's go. Yeah, the top three is losing weight. You know, everyone's fitness goals, 6-week challenge.
That has to be number one, though. No. Are we in order or is it just
in order?
So that's number 3.
That's number 3.
Yep.
Losing weight. The second one is improving their money goals.
Yep, I could see that.
And the first one is actually toned fitness.
Okay.
So like bulking up and getting better with that, which is the same as losing. Oh, well, that would be different from losing weight. Eh?
I think losing weight is more like diet. I'm guessing.
Probably, yeah.
Probably 3 is like eating better.
Yeah.
And 2 would be making money changes, and then 1 would be like getting fitter and running and doing that kind of thing.
I'm quoting this from Stuff, by the way. This is Stuff statistics on New Zealand.
I wonder where their demographic. Where was their sample?
It was a survey of 1,500 people, so it's not a really big sample.
Yeah, but where would it be? Who would be in this one?
Yeah, true.
Because if it was out these ways, I don't know. What would South Auckland, West Auckland goals be? Do you reckon? Would it be very similar?
I think it'll be similar.
Yeah.
You know, there's always the spur of gyms coming out at this time and starting their New Year's resolutions and getting people into 6-week challenges and paying $180 to not show up for the first 2 weeks and then
to pay for the electricity at the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a time for people to come and try and set their year straight. Try and start fresh. And you're seeing the quotes on Instagram. You're seeing them on Twitter. I'm going to do better. Bible scriptures everywhere. You see planning, vision boards. There's this entire hype behind it. And I wanted to ask you, coming into the new year, are you big on the whole new year, new me type of thing?
I used to be. And then I realized I used to be like hard out. Like, I'm going to make these goals and I'll put them on the wall. And there's room for that. It does work, but it's kind of like, when you put things out to the universe, like everyone manifests things. I'm going to manifest, like, I'm going to, buy a house this year. I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to do these big goals. And it's great to do that, but like, it's the work that has to go behind those manifesting that a lot of people forget about.
Yeah.
And, like manifesting and writing things on a board can only go so far as the work that you put in. And so like I've realized that over the last, I don't know, maybe the last 5 years, maybe, and they're like, it's all right to put it out to the universe, but it's the little goals to get towards where you need to get to, which is more important than anything.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah. And I'm not a hater. Like, I'm a hater. I'm 20% hater. Yeah. But like, I love it when I actually see people like post their goals and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see them achieve it. If you're going to want to lose weight, go for it.
Yeah, it's not like I'm hating on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really, like, it's not like I'm like, wow, whatever.
Yeah,
like, Like, there's a little bit of that in everybody. Like, here we go again. But, it's not your goal, so shut the hell up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
If somebody else is like, this year, if they go on their Facebook and they go, man, I'm going to lose 10 kgs in the first whatever, you're like, yeah, go for it. But then, like if you do it every year for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing though. That's where I was going to get to. That's where I was going to. I was, they're constantly posting their goals year after year. Maybe they didn't do well the previous year, but it's just like, I think there needs to be more focus, not on the goals set in the beginning of the year, which is similar to what you're saying, but those little things, those tasks those habits that need to come into fruition before you set really large goals.
Okay, here's a little bit of a side swap on that one. Like people that do that, right? For instance, they'll go like, oh yeah, new year, new me, da da da. I've done this every year. Are you a hater if you go up to them and you like privately and you say, hey bro, like you've done this all the time, like how about we switch it up somehow? Like why don't you do it in a different way or do something else? Does that make you a hater?
Nah.
See,
do you think it's a hater?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a good friend. I feel like that's a great friend.
Me too.
But then I've been that friend.
Yeah.
And I get you're such a hater, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, bro, you said like you're going to, stop smoking for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'll jump in and I go, bro, I've heard that fucking 5 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
How about we try and like do something else?
Yeah.
Or not do something else, but try and find different goals to get you there. And then, you're such a hater, Tim. Oh, yeah. But, like...
You don't know the whole story, Tim.
Yeah, those ones. But, like... I think that's a good friend. I think a good friend will tell you, like, hey, man, I've seen you struggle with this, or hey, this is something that I struggled with as well. That's a good friend, but I think it's the way that you word it sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll just say it. But,
absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, I might get barred for this one, but if you can't accept criticism from your friends who are there for your best intention as well, I just don't think you deserve good friends at that point.
And I also think if you're nitpicking on how they told you, then you need to reassess. Like if somebody, there's always some truth in something, in some type of feedback, any feedback, even these trolls that get on and go like, I don't, like these on the internet. And then you just have to go, okay, what do you think might be the truth in this? What do you think is just hate? And sometimes you have to just go away from how they worded it and just be like, no, actually there's something in there.
Absolutely. I view it exactly the same as you. Feedback is good for me. Bad, good, because you know how to move and you can kind of like mold yourself based on the feedback. So it's not something to take personal if you are giving advice to someone who needs to improve in a certain way. I guess also how you say it is another important thing.
But I mean, like, if you want, I'm all about the analogies these days. Okay, if you want a cup of tea and the cup of tea comes in an ugly cup that doesn't look very well, it's a little bit dirty, I don't know, on the outside, are you still going to drink the tea? Probably you're going to drink the tea, right? And the tea is the insight. The cup might be how they word it, but if you just look inside of it, you go, I really need a cup of tea.
Yeah.
If you always need a cup of tea, and that's how you should always be. You should always be trying to get some form of feedback.
Absolutely.
Because nobody's a finished product at all.
Nobody is a finished product. Exactly.
Yeah, it's Frieza. That was from Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, episode number 17 of the Frieza saga. No,
yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? The final form is never there. Like, and what the other one that annoys me is when people will say that, like, man, I'm all about feedback, bro. Give me feedback, and then give them feedback, and it's like, this is shit. Like, like, oh, how could you say that about me? Or, it's like, nah.
Or you don't understand. This is blah 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 blah.
Yeah. But I think like feedback's it's an amazing tool if you know how to, fish and find the right gems. But if you just take it as the whole shebang, then But I think, oh man, how do we get there? Feedback, New Year's resolutions. Yeah,
it's merged in there somewhere. I think if you have New Year's resolutions and someone is going to talk smack about you, don't worry about it. Keep going about your ways. But also, if your friends are giving you good advice on how you can improve on your goals that you've probably been working on for the last 5 years, just take it.
Yeah. And don't take advice for people that, there's a thing like you wouldn't take advice from someone that hasn't been in the same shoes as you, or doesn't, what was it? There's some real cool quote around like,
I know one. It's don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be.
Boom, that's the one.
Do you believe that?
I think like but I think audience is important. Like if you're doing things to a wider audience, like this podcast, for instance, like it's going out to people, and if the audience are giving, feedback around, hey, I really like this, I really like that, I don't like that, I don't like this, then and you learn from that. But if it's around your own personal stuff, like I'm not going to go to, like if I want to be, I don't know, a skateboarder, I'm not going to take advice from somebody that's a skier. You know what I mean? So, well, you take little bits of advice, but you won't take the whole, like, how to do a kickflip from that person, So, and it goes the same with business and buying a house and saving money. I'm not going to go to, if my auntie that goes to the pokies every weekend, I'm not going to go, hey, auntie, how could I save $10,000?
Yeah, exactly. So, got to get it from the right people.
Yeah.
And I won't say it's common sense, but it's kind of just looking at where you want to go. You got to find everyone going there and be like, I want to join them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really important to find those
people. Yeah.
Find people. And you know what? I think in my line of work too, that I found is that some people just don't ask. Like, they won't ask for feedback, or they won't ask, like, how did you do that? They just feel whakama about it and they don't want to do anything. But it's the best. Like, if you go to, like, I'm really lucky. I work around some amazing people that have done some amazing things. And I'm not shy to go, hey, how did you do that? Like, I
think because that requires a lot of humility. And, there's, people are unwilling to look in. It's just a natural human thing. It's like, I don't want to look at myself and work on myself. And to be humble, you've got to work on yourself. To get to the stage where you're open to learning, to soak up things like a sponge and to humbly ask someone how do they get somewhere, requires a lot of courage. Like,
but it's also a skill. Like, it's humility, and you have to build that skill up by just doing the leap of faith and asking somebody. Like, and I guarantee you, like, people will more likely say yes than no. And if they say no, it's because either there's two sides. They're either really, really busy and they just don't have time, or they just trying to keep their gems to themselves. And there's people out there that are like that. But majority of humans are more than happy to ask and to help. But it's also how you kind of, ask. Like, I get it all the time on my social media, like, hey bro, can you put my business out there? And if I don't know who you are, or I've never had a conversation with you before, if that's your first opening line, then I'm going to say no. But if you, like, just build rapport and show that you can do a good job with whatever gems you get from people, then yeah, man, of course they'll probably say yes to things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more of an internal thing, like having the courage to ask. For Samoans, because, like, we have this, like, growing up in the family, children, you listen to your parents, So in my family, where we grew up, you kind of, like, know when it's going to be a yes or a no. So then they're like, should I ask my dad if I should go to my mate's house? Nah, he's going to say no. So we get to a point where we're just like, might as well not ask.
Kind of suck yourself out.
Yeah. And then sometimes that carries into us as adults. Being like, I don't want to ask. I already know he might say no based on the assumptions of what you know of that person. Yeah. So it's kind of hard sometimes, going into adolescence and then growing up into an adult to get rid of that preconceived idea that everyone is just going to be like, ooh, no.
When I was doing my first podcast, people would always ask, how do you get these guests on? And I would tell them, I just ask them. And they would go, no, not even. Straight up, I just ask. Like, and if they say no, I'm like, hey man, if things ever change, let me know. Like, I would love to, share. But I build that rapport before I go in, and I have a body of work that they go, okay, this guy's pretty good at what he does, or this guy's put in a lot of effort. It'd be great to chop it up. And it's an hour, 45 minutes of their day, like, so yeah. And yeah, so I mean, like, when you asked me to come on, I was like, of course, yes, because I know that you do a great job at what you do, and like, I've seen your work, and I know that it's and I know the mahi that goes in on your side of things. So
thanks, bro. There's another 2024 New Year's resolution.
Okay.
Just ask. Just ask.
Is that like, just ask. Yeah, ask for help.
Yeah, ask for help. Reach out. Talking about reach out, man. You seen Instagram is bombarded with, like, shadow work, healing, positivity, positive cycle. Or it might just be my algorithm, and I'm just like,
no, it's everybody's. It's mine too. Don't worry.
I'm just exposing myself right here. And I feel like, with the whole New Year's resolution, people are constantly looking at their phones and they're being bombarded with this kind of positivity, healing work about self. And a lot of people actually start making decisions based on quotes that they see on Instagram, or they base their lives, like their decisions that they make in their lives around what they're seeing on their newsfeed. What do you think about, away from the content stuff, like the analytics and why it comes up on your algorithm, but do you think this is healthy for that type of social media culture?
Man, it's a great question, because I feel as if, because I can't lie, man, I'm still in that trap. Like I am a big fan of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and then you look at like your Gary V's, and you look at these like hustle culture type people.
David Goggins.
Perfect.
If you're not up at 4 a.m.,
he's the guy.
What are you even doing?
You know what I mean?
He's awesome though. I love him.
But again, there's sugar, like the message of him getting out running every morning, da 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 da. There is, if you take little bits of that, because I am a student of that game. But is it good? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I know right now is that, in order, and not even social media, just working. Like, I know that if I'm not working, somebody else is working even harder than me and is ready to take, not my spot, but take what I've kind of worked for, you know? And so I just have to keep working and keep showing up and keep being the best I can be. But I got all that from watching Kobe. Like, I got all that from when he passed away, from like all the stories that he came up with, that came out, and Michael Jordan and how hard that he worked, and Ray Lewis and all these guys that are like, yo, work. It's all about effort. If you're not putting effort in, shit's not happening. Like, I was a huge component of that. And
do you think that contributed a lot to who you are today?
Oh, 100%. Like, I can pinpoint certain parts of my personality to things that I watched growing up. And I knew that. So for me, when I'm doing my shit now, I know that I'm going to somehow influence somebody else to kind of be themselves. Yeah. Because, and like, we talk about humility and shit like that, but like, this is probably, this contradicts what we just said, but I know for a fact that there's somebody out there that watches me be myself, a true South Aucklander that talks about Cody's and Pokies and da-da-da-da-da on a sports show, and will go, oh man, if he can do it, I could probably do it when I get a bit older, or that guy can. And there's people that say that, and there's the other people that go, why is he on? Like, why that guy that says bro all the time, or why is he on? He shouldn't be on, I should be on. And it's, there's that two sides to the coin there, but I really don't care about that side of the coin. My one is like, there's not many people that talk like me, that act like me, that can find funny things that we find as South Aucklanders, West Aucklanders, from Porirua, from Flaxmere, from those that relatable type content. It's really hard to find, and it's hard to stay yourself. Yeah. And I just hope that, like, a little bit of hope kind of, and that did come from, I wouldn't have been able to get my foot in the door if I didn't hustle and I didn't put that work in to get there. Exactly. And then once I got the foot in the door, then it's like, okay, I can't change now. I have to be me. I can't put on a voice like, hey, I'm here at the Blues game. Like, I had to just continue on being myself, because there's somebody watching that could be like, yo, I want to be like that guy.
Exactly. And I think often, a lot of times, people who are raised in South Auckland think that our type of being, our person, where we're raised, aren't meant for those, traditional roles where it's a guy in a suit and like going around interviewing. But the fact that you made that happen, and that they saw your talent and your character as a person and what you could bring is very aspirational.
Thank you. And that's really what I like. When I first started, I just was like, yo, just be yourself. But now I'm starting to realize, like, when I'm out in the communities, even the bakery run stuff, like, people are like, we really like it because you just talk like one of us, and you're just us. Yeah. And you're not trying to put it, like, I remember, like, I did the clip this year with last year with the Warriors kid, the kid with the Warriors, and a lot of people that didn't know me, it'd be like, oh, look at this guy trying to be a Māori, like, like, I'm like, bro, I am Māori. And I would clap back, because I'm like, no, your assumption is fucked up. Yeah. Like, that's who I am as a person. And it's this quantum this quantum physics or this quantum thing around how much blood you have in you, or it's fucking dumb. It's disgusting. I'm a Maori because my genealogy goes back, and I don't need to go and I don't need to justify that to anybody.
Exactly.
Right? And so, but like that was a eye opener for me to go, well, this person doesn't know who I am, but they're gonna click on and find out real quick that like my heart, my manawa is all around my upbringing as Maori, and regardless of your ignorance, I'm still ripping the flag to the death.
I think those people who bring it up are kind of just insecure, really.
100%.
They're trying to rip you apart in your identity because they just feel lost within themselves. So
does that happen a lot in the Pacifica realm?
Oh, hell yeah.
With
we're all trying to prove we're Samoans. We all need there's a gatekeeper right there with Samoans is, they're a different breed, but
because with my good friend Regan, he's Niue and Tokelauan, and man, he reps both sides equally proud, and it's so cool to see, and he'll talk about his Tokelauan side, he'll talk about his Niuean side, and it's so great to see. And for me, like, I know I'm Maori, and all of the fucked up shit that colonizers did to our people, I have Pākehā blood in me, but I'm like, I don't need to worry about that. Like, I need to represent for tangata whenua, and I'm still on my journey, but I'm still working to make sure that, some kid in Mangere or Manureo or Henderson and Avondale, they can go, man, like, that guy got on TV. If I work hard enough, I could do the same.
Exactly.
It's not like TV's not the end goal, but I got to be there and be myself. And that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah, that's it. And, speaking of your work in TV, you get to meet a lot of really cool people. The people who are doing quotes that I watch on my newsfeed in the morning, saying work hard, 40 hours. There's a lot of perspectives around the type of positive newsfeed and overcrowding social media, and it's gotten to a point where people are calling it toxic because it's like toxic positivity. But for me personally, it's helped me. And there are two people that
let's go through. What are the two people that you feel that like have helped you be who you are, that you've seen? You know what I mean?
For me, it's Jordan B. Peterson.
Okay.
I might get cancelled for that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very controversial. I didn't know we were going to start there, but okay.
Jordan B. Peterson. And the reason why Jordan B. Peterson was very life-changing for me was because his content is all about self-accountability and self-responsibility. And in a world where you can't control much, you can only control yourself. And there's a lot of times where we're burdened with family problems and whatnot, and you feel like you're stuck, you can't do anything about it. JBP has a very great and distinct way of organizing your mind to help you deal with everything that goes on. So he has this mindset where it's like, the world's going to be screwed up. People are going to do screwed up things to you always. It's never going to be this perfect utopia. But I'm going to write you 12 different books and create 100 podcasts on how you can deal with all these different life situations and keep resilient through it all. Right. So he really switched my mind from being, why is life so unfair? And to moving into someone who is more accountable and responsible for their actions. And that for me was life-changing. Joe Rogan is because of how he interviewed people. It was away from the whole what I usually would see on mainstream media, and he's just chilling and relaxing and having an honest conversation with someone. So those two people, and I often see their quotes online, and I give them huge props, but they really did change my life. So I'm all about brainwashing. You are your environment, and we are on our phones a lot. So I make sure my newsfeed is actually intentionally bombarded with like positive quotes and things. I don't absorb all of it, but there's probably one that I'm going to wake up and like think about and be like, this will be good.
I'm a very audio dude. Like I like to hear things, and like I go to bed, I go to sleep listening to like podcasts that I like that could because I mean your brain, and I say this to my kids and they never listen to me. Okay, so, but I say like your brain is a garden. Like, what are you going to water it with? Like, And then I see them on YouTube watching all these videos of like, you know, gaming videos and all this thing. I was like, yo, this is not watering. There's not a lot of good nutrients getting into your stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Can we talk about that? Because like, I've been called what a serious dude about this. Is about what you watch. Oh, everything you scroll by is going to be food for your brain and what you produce. So like, scrolling is now an addiction. I think we've identified that.
100.
And it's so hard to detach from, like any drug would. And I don't know, but I feel like there needs to be some more mahi around that, getting people off addiction on phones, on scrolling, on unnecessary crap.
I mean, it's hard for... I agree. Don't get me wrong. I agree. But it's like when, you know, like... I'm in the rat race, really. I'm really in the rat race when it comes to the socials, because it's... For me, I'm lucky, okay? I've got Crowd Goes Wild that are, you know... There's a camera guy there. You can edit stuff. You can learn that stuff. Bakery Run. Shout out to my bro Will, who does a lot of the mahi there, and he does all that stuff. That's his jam. That's what he does. And then, you know, like I've got a new podcast coming up called Honest to Who, and with Honest to Who, there's a guy that does that stuff. So like I'm creating the content, but I'm not putting all the time in to get that up, right? So for me, I can't be like, don't go on your phones, because here I am producing content.
That's so true. Yeah.
Because it contradicts what I'm going to, you know, like I would love to go, yeah, man, get off your phones. And then I'm over here like, oh, hey, there's Bakery Run episodes coming out. You know what I mean? Like, I feel quite, like I don't, but I do see where you're going with it. Yeah. But that's the first, like, the toxic positivity thing is an interesting thing, eh?
Yeah.
Like, can you be too positive? I don't think you can.
I don't know. See, I would disagree. Yeah. I've been called toxic positive. Yeah. Sharing toxic positivity before, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like with this world we're in and the challenges that we have to face, I think you have to have a certain level of positivity to get through stuff.
Gotta have some hope.
Yeah.
You know? I think like coming back to the Jordan Peterson stuff. You know, a lot of people...
See, but I don't identify with him. Like, there's people who are like I'm a Jordan B. Peterson follower.
Yes.
And I'm like, there are ideas that I don't agree with him, but his clinical psychology side, which is about how to fix your mind and deal with problems, that's the side I agree with. When he gets into politics and philosophy, I kind of don't listen to that side of him. Yeah, but his clinical, because he's a registered clinical psychologist, and that was his... this dude sells out like freaking...
Oh, he's huge. But do you feel as if like the people that are going to go, man, how could you support don't have the, I don't want to say capacity, but don't have the time, I suppose, to actually decipher what you like about that person compared to what you don't like about that person?
Yeah, or they don't
want to take the time out to go, well, yeah.
Nah. They don't want to take the time out, or they just project. They're just projecting, really. Like, they're like, I don't like this about this person. Or it's like the whole, like, R. Kelly thing, you know? Like, he's a rapist, but he makes good music. And then there was a whole divide on it. And it's like, you listen to R. Kelly?
All the time.
Yeah. But it's like, if you see something bad about a person, and that's only your perspective, but you're unwilling to see why someone else likes or can appease to that person, it's kind of lazy.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to something as bad as, you know, pedophilia and rape, you know, you kind of...
That's a discerning line.
Yes, but when it, you know, like, and everybody has different lines. Like, there's some people that's my breaking point. If you do that, sorry, and you're dead to me type buzz, you know. And everybody has their own lines, but you know, like sometimes you just have to respect other people, like lines. Like, okay, well that's cool, and you know what? It doesn't cost anything to just go, oh well, that's cool, that's you, and then move on. Like, you know, but sometimes people will be like, oh, I need to, you know, I need to get it from here to here and tell you exactly why you're a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? But and that again, each to their own. Let people do what they want. But if you gravitate from something that isn't around that stuff, I just want to let everybody know she brought up the R. Kelly stuff.
And that was a very terrible comparison as well.
And we do not play R. Kelly on New FM. Just so you know.
I don't listen to R. Kelly. No, just kidding. So, sorry, that's where I was going with that question was, you know, you're around a lot of people who are very successful, who train very hard and need a certain level of discipline to get to where they are. Is there a common denominator that contributes to their success?
Oh man, it's I reckon priorities. A lot of people just prioritize. I think the big guns, you know, the most, you know, the athletes and the people that are successful, they just prioritize correctly. They put things, they do the things that you need to do to get to where you need to get to, and they just prioritize. That's it. They just put the right things in the right places, and that's it. I mean, you look from, you know, and I get it, like rugby players, you know, that's their job, but you don't get there unless you work hard. And if the priority is when you're 18, 17, 16, you're like, so you sign that contract, this is what I'm going to do, this is exactly where I want to be, and you sign that contract with yourself. It's a Kobe line that he says, but you sign that contract, you just not, and I'm not talking about a scholarship or anything, I'm like that internal contract of, and whenever you want to do it, this is what I'm going to do regardless. Then yeah, those people just prioritize that contract more than anything. Like you talk to, you know, anyone from Ari Savia to Israel Adesanya to anyone, they've made that contract long times ago and they've just stuck to it. Like, I'm going to be the best MMA fighter in the world, and then they just stuck with it. That was it.
Just the commitment.
Yeah, they committed and they said, this is it. This is the priority. The priority is not going out, getting on it. The priority is not, you know, spending the day on the Xbox. The priority is I need to get this workout done by this time, and I need to make sure I get this done, and then anything else later on, I'll have time for whatever I want to do.
That's very important. And if you're listening to this today, that's a good thing to put on your 2024 New Year's resolution. Is it's not as big as, you know, I'm going to lose 40 kgs or I'm going to save $50,000. Just prioritize the right things. Yeah. But
I feel as if like a lot of people, we get stuck in the vanity metrics of things. You know, I want, you know, 5,000 followers, or I want, you know, to be skinny, and I want to do these things that people are going to judge me on. If you change that mindset of like, I want to do this, like let's say the followers thing, let's just use that, right? Instead of going, I want 5,000 followers before the end of the year or whatever, if you change that up and said, I want to make 300 videos before the end of the year.
See, there we go.
That mindset switch of like, you know, like who cares if I get 5,000 followers? Because that's not my opinion. Or that's somebody else's opinion if they're going to follow me. Or that's somebody else's, you know, like losing weight. You know, like if I say I want to have, you know, lose 10 kgs. Instead of saying that, say, hey, I want to fix up my diet, or I want to work out, you know, like once a week, or I want to go for walks every day. And instead of doing what's on the scale, because I mean, man, you could go, I want to fix up my diet, and then next week have one down buzz, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to
we out.
Well, that's over. But if you just say, hey, I want to do this every week or something like that, yeah. And then I think that mindset of changing that is important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was going to bring me into my next question.
Oh, wow. Look at us. We're
together. You're
segues
rolling.
on segues. Let's go.
You're rolling yourself over, man. This is really good. For you personally, you've come such a long way, Tim. You know, you started your own podcast, and
thank you.
I'm sure you've gotten messages from a lot of people who are saying, how do you start a podcast? Where'd you buy your first camera from? What software do you use? Like those kind of small questions. And now you're on Sky TV hosting Crowd Goes Wild. You got bakery runs, which is doing awesome. What is the most effective goal setting method for you? You know, we've just talked about how making goals more realistic.
Yeah.
Like instead of saying, I want 5,000 followers, you're saying, how many videos can you create in 1 year to get that 5,000 followers? Or another one would be, why do you want 5,000 followers in the first place?
That's another thing. That's a whole different kettle of fish. You're right.
And if you can't figure out your why, but you want the 5,000, there's a question that needs to be asked there. But of course, not everyone knows that because you've got to be in a certain level of experience and get to a certain level to understand that. But for you to get to the stage where you are now, what's been the best way of goal setting for you?
So I had a big dream, and then I just cut that dream into little bite-sized pieces. That's all I did. Like I was like, I want to be like a talk show host on TV, like to do like David Letterman stuff. And then I said, well, what do I need to do to get there? And then, you know, I needed to talk in front of people. I needed to be good on camera. I needed to be, you know, so what we talked about before, the 5,000 follower, whatever you want to do, like the why, you know, and how. The why and the how is way more important than what you put on the internet. Like, you know, so let's say, for instance, like I've set that dream, I signed that contract with myself. We're going to try and get on TV to be a talk show host, like David Letterman and Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff. That's a big dream, but at least it's a goal, right? So I looked at that and I thought, how can I cut that up? Okay, I got to be good on talking on camera. So we started the bakery run so I could get used to talking on camera and getting better at that. And then I want to get better at, and then you got to ask questions, good questions that aren't the standard cookie cutter, whatever you know, like everybody will ask. So I became a student, and then I started a podcast to try and implement those changes. But it's all around these small little, like a big goal that could be 20, 30 years away, but just little bits, just little tiny bits. You know I have to speak and be funny, so I try to do stand-up comedy and get better at that. And you got to write, so I've been writing, and I've got to do this, and you know, like, yeah, you've got to really splice it up, like get in there with a ginsu knife, with a katana blade, and just try and slice off the fat, which is you want to do it for yourself, like to add more followers, like, but you got to slice that off and throw that away, because it's about the artwork, and it's about putting, you know, crafting your sword to be the sharpest sword that you can, so when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready. Yeah. And you don't know when the opportunity will come. It just will come sooner or later, but you just have to have faith in the work, really.
That's amazing. And I totally agree with you. Slice it up into small pieces. Take every day as it comes and do what you need to do every day.
That's why I love what you do, because you don't need these like sponsorships, and you don't need all these like big things. You just do it and you get better at it, and then sooner or later those things will come. I mean, you talk, you know, you bring up the bakery run, and we've talked about that. You know, we just film it. There's no sponsorship to it. There's no funding. There's nothing. And for me, it's turning up at a bakery, finding a guest, and being funny on camera. For my bro Will, it's filming it and editing it and being able to find angles and things like that.
And, you know, during that time, you guys are like upskilling and learning new things.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the money.
And those things have opened up doors for me. There's no way I'm getting on Crowd Goes Wild if I didn't do the bakery run. Because that's my CV. Like that people aren't looking at piece of paper anymore. They're not looking at your CV that you send in most of the time. If you want to get on camera and stuff, they're looking at exactly what you've done.
Exactly.
And that's what I wanted to bring up next around social media is like, I think a lot of us need to use our social media like a CV. Don't let it use you. You use it as a CV. You put shit in there that you know that if you want that job, or if you want to do something, they can look at that and go, this guy's good at such and such. This chick is great at asking questions.
Exactly.
This person is good at weaving. This person's good at cooking. Like, and they're good on the camera. You know, like you use it as a CV for the job that you want. That's what I've started doing, and look what happened. I wanted people to see that I can ask questions. I want them to know that I'm a student of the game. And and away I go.
I think that's awesome as well. And you're right. It's good to surround yourself with doers. You know, like some people stop when there's no contract or when there's no check, but they still haven't even produced a good enough product to present themselves. 100%. So like they're like, I'm going to do this because I have this, but I'm not going to do it without money. And they're like, hey, show us something you've made. And they're like, oh, I didn't have that.
If you give me money, I can. Like, it's like, that's not how that works. With any job, that's not how that works. If you apply to work at McDonald's, and they're like, hey, like, where's your CV? And man, just see me cook those fries at home that nobody sees on the air fryer. That's not going to get you the job. But if you can show them that, hey, I show up on time, or hey, like, here's me, I'm dressed right. Oh, I've got like every documentation that you needed for this application. It's all there, and it's in a nice spreadsheet, or it's in a nice folder. Here I am. You're showing people that you could do the job.
Exactly.
But if you're just, you know, and I go back to the online stuff, if you're online saying like, if this, if that, and like, you can swear, like, go hard, but if you're like, you know, fuck the police and all this stuff, people are going to look at it and go, oh, that's a bit risky.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, you look at some of the successful people on that have, you know, done a great job online. My friend Regan's a great example. You know, Terrell, Wolfgang, they've used their platform to showcase how funny they can be and how witty they can be and what they can come up with. And it's, you know, provided them with some great moments and opportunities.
Yeah.
And there's plenty out there. There's probably heaps that I got. When you mention me, but I did mention you. I just, off the top of my head, those three just popped up.
That's
you know.
Don't get offended and
Yeah,
don't comment
my bad.
and why didn't he mention you?
My bad.
But you know, just thinking about the people that you mentioned, Wolfgang, Terrell and Regan, and you know, they picked up their phone and they started making stuff.
Yeah,
They were just like, where's my contract? I'm going to pick up my phone and make videos. My dream is on you and you have to pay me. So it's about doing.
And building.
Yeah.
And if you're scared to build, then that's on you. Like you need
Exactly.
yeah, but yeah, they're perfect examples there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tim, for sharing that wealth of wisdom with us.
Sheesh.
I think I got it. 2024, the year of doing.
Just
do it, mate.
Just get out and do stuff. Like sheesh. Don't worry about no contracts. Don't worry about nothing. Just get the work done.